welcome back to another video. Today we've got another feature for you guys. If you are excited, make sure to leave a like, a comment and subscribe. But yeah, we have just driven an hour to meet a special somebody, and today on the channel we have got Leanne.
Hi.
And her Prelude. So yes, we're going to go through everything on the car. We were saying earlier, there's not a lot of performance mods, so some of the other videos when we go really fast in cars, or we hypothetically go fast, there's not going to be a lot of that today, but it's got a really good history, and so much work has been put into this. So if you are excited, then sit back and enjoy.
Okay, so this is my 4th gen Honda Prelude. It is a 1996. It is actually the second 4th gen Prelude I have owned, because I only bought this one for the gearbox. When I bought this car, it didn't run, it hadn't run for 16 years, the engine was completely dead. So yeah, the plan was to take this manual gearbox out of this and take a few other little parts off, and then I was going to swap that into my other Prelude I had, which was an auto. And then when we finally got it home, I realised that although this was rusty, it was slightly less rusty than the other Prelude. So me and Charlie had a chat and we decided that we would use this shell instead. So the plan was then that we were going to take the engine that ran out of my other Prelude and put it in this one, but we thought we'll just do like a last ditch attempt, like see if we can get it running. If not, like no love was lost, because we had the other engine anyway. So with a little bit of persuasion, we did manage to get this running. So that was just another job we didn't have to do. So then we just cracked on with all the bodywork and everything, and then yeah, managed to get it all done in about 3 months. So like it was literally ready for scrapyard. Yeah. So the guy who I bought it from, he had it listed for parts, so I just messaged and said how much for the gearbox. He said I think 650 or 750 for the whole car, so it was kind of a no-brainer really. Especially when I needed a few other little bits and bobs off it anyway, and then everything else was just kind of take the good stuff from that one, take the good stuff from my other one, make one good car, and then my other one went to scrap.
Because you can never get enough parts, can you?
No, especially for these as well, because there's so few left on the road. You don't really see 4th gens a lot. Everyone seems to think that these are like the ugly duckling really. Everyone loves a 3rd gen with the pop-up lights, and everyone loves a 5th gen with the rear end, but people don't really like 4th gens that much. And to be fair, with the stock body I can understand that. I don't like the stock body on a 4th gen, hence why we've got all the custom bodywork on it. So yeah.
Hey, so if you could just tell us a little bit about your wheel and suspension setup.
Yeah, so the wheels I've got are Workmeister S1s. They are 10-inch wide, 17s, and I don't actually know the ET off the top of my head. But essentially I got those, I did actually get them as temporary wheels because I had Work Equip 05s on before, but I didn't know until after I bought them that the faces had cracked, so then I had to get them welded. They then cracked again, so I just got these because they came up at a good price and I really liked them. I did initially want to go for 3 pieces, that's why I thought they were going to be temporary, but I actually really like not having to clean around wheel bolts, like the split bolts. So yeah, I do actually really like them, and I think they just suit the car pretty well, so I think I'm going to keep hold of them for now. I've obviously got stretch tyres and camber just for the kind of fitment I want. Okay. I like the stancy kind of hot boy US style builds. So to get the camber, what I have done, well I say what I have done, I can't weld, but my spindles have been cut and welded, so they're now shorter and obviously angled as well. So that's how I've got the camber. And what I have done as well is to have better choice of wheels, I've converted my hubs. So these were 4x114.3. So what I did was I got some hubs from a 5th gen VTI, which has 5x114.3. So obviously then you've kind of got all typical Jap wheel options. So yeah, just makes it easier to find nice wheels for it really, because otherwise you're kind of limited to, I think, S13 and Nissan Cube wheels. Yeah,
and they really just go with the build, don't they? Very well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I just like the chrome, especially against the baby blue. It's just Goes really well. So my front bumper is a Wings West, known as a big mouth bumper. They're quite hard to come by, and they're quite valuable because you don't tend to see them a lot in the UK. This, I was actually pretty lucky in that this used to be owned by Charlie, my boyfriend, when he had a 4th gen Prelude, and he just kept hold of it for so many years. So we did a little trade for some parts for when he had a Civic, and yeah, I now have this, which I love.
It's got an interesting nose bit as well, hasn't it?
It has got interesting nose bit, yeah, and also it's got these tiny little holes for indicators, these are actually motorcycle indicators that I bought to fit in there because I don't have them in my headlights, and in the stock bumper they were just kind of like in this area just taped on, and it just wasn't really the vibe. So hunted for some little tiny indicators that would fit in there, and yeah, I mean, they look kind of cute. They're not really that helpful, but
no, but it looks good.
My side skirts, these are honestly have been the bane of my life for quite some time because I ordered them. I'm not going to name the company because I don't think it was intentional, but I ordered them from a company. They're made of fiberglass. Ordered 4th gen Prelude side skirts. They came. This was when I had my first Lude a couple of years ago. They sat for a while because we wasn't really doing the bodywork then. We were trying to do the rust work. When we came to fit them to this Prelude, we realised that they didn't fit. They were like this much too short. The angles here, just like they stuck out so far from the wings and the quarters. And then it came to my attention that there was a tiny little engraving on it that said S13. So these are Nissan S13 side skirts that have been hacked up and re-fiberglassed by me and Charlie to fit.
Jesus. And
I do love how they look, but they're still not a perfect fit really. They do like catch in little areas. I've already re-fiberglassed and painted one side, I can't remember which side, once. They both need doing again, but it's just hard to find side skirts for 4th gen Preludes that aren't like really ricey. It's all very max power,
early
kind
2000s,
of in your face, whereas these I just think they're kind of like, yeah, okay, they are like a bit bigger and a bit out there, but like they go with the front bumper, the rear bumper, and they just kind of look like it works.
Finishes it off nicely. Yeah. No, definitely.
Rear bumper.
It's different. Sorry.
Yeah, so the rear bumper, I actually also got this off Charlie. This also used to be on Charlie's 4th gen, but he on his had wide arches, not massively wide, but he'd flared them out a little bit to get his wheels to fit. So this stuck out. It wasn't quite a perfect fit. The body line here, it was quite far in, and then this bit was not long enough, and all sorts of things. So what we actually did was we cut, you can actually see the line if you look really close, but we cut this section out of my stock bumper, and then obviously the same section out of this bumper, and then fiberglassed that in so that it fit better, because it was just easier to put the whole part in rather than make all the little bits and bobs fit.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, that's all been custom made to fit.
That's incredible.
One. I don't actually know what the name of the bumper is or where it came from to start with, but
yes, yeah. No, I mean, that's just incredible, and I love what's the colour called as well? The paint
so this
colour.
is actually Porsche Golf Blue. You know, like the Golf liveries that's like blue with orange on like race cars and stuff. Do you remember that? That's the blue that it is. Yeah.
Gosh. And you were just saying in the future you want to do a few more things, obviously, but exhaust and stuff, you were toying around with ideas.
I feel like my boring stock exhaust is the elephant in the room. But I am in the process of planning. Exhaust is next on my list. I've got someone, a friend of ours, who is really good at MIG welding, whichever one is where you weld stainless, can't remember.
Yep.
I'm just trying to decide on how I want it to look at the back, to be honest with you. That's the only thing that's holding me back. Can't decide whether to go shotguns, twin exit, both sides, single exit. There's a lot of options. I'm very indecisive. And also it's really difficult because there's not that many stancy 4th gen Preludes around for me to look at and go, oh yeah, that works.
No,
and even then it's probably not got the same bumper, or you know.
Yeah, it's very one of one. You're in your own lane, but if you do want to stay up to date with that, follow the Instagram, and obviously, yeah, get the updates when they pop out. But yeah, no, it's difficult when you're in your own lane and you're just creating stuff. But it's a good way to be.
Because there's a few other things I want to do as well. I mean, aside from just tidying up all the things that have gone wrong, like where we smoothed the boot, it's cracked now, so that needs to be welded and done. Obviously, this side of the bumper I've ruined by sitting fitment, so that's my next thing to do.
That's yeah, because until you get it right.
As you can see, that's the bit that we cut out, and that's where it was fiberglassed, and because it sits on my tyre, it's just not obviously very happy about it.
What size are these then?
These are, I've literally just changed tyre size. I've gone up from a 195/40 on a 10 to a 215/35.
Yeah.
I think.
Gosh.
I think. So it's still quite a lot of stretch on a 10.
Yes. And how?
Yeah.
What is it like? Because I mean, I probably will approach Charlie in the future for camber, only a little bit, but
yeah.
Dialing stuff in. How hard is that? Like to get it? It's very trial and error, or can you just guess and go for it with something?
In terms of like alignment, or
yeah, the way you've got it perfect. How hard is that to achieve? You know, if anybody was wondering.
It can be quite difficult. You kind of, people don't realise how much tyre size plays such a part in it, to be honest with you, as well. But yeah, a lot of the time it is just trial and error. Obviously, if you've got like 3-piece wheels that you're building from scratch, it's a little bit easier because you can work out what size lip, what size barrel you need, and get the exact ET you need. But especially when I bought these, the guy didn't really know a lot for a start. So I was going from, I think, 8.5 fronts and 9.5 rears to what I thought was 9 fronts and 9.5 rears. When he actually dropped them off and then left and I measured them, they were 10s all round. So it wasn't really what I was expecting anyway, which is why I have issues where I do scuff my arches and my quarters and stuff, because they're a bit too big, really. But
yes, yeah.
they fit, they look cool.
No, yeah, it does. It very
I'm a little
much
bit
does.
biased to say that.
No, but the fitment is good, and it is sitting really, really nicely. Obviously this is not static, in case people were wondering. We don't drive around like this every day. So what have you got going on?
So a lot of people think it's on air ride, but it's actually on hydraulics. So I tried to get air ride for it twice. I ordered it, I paid for it twice, and then my orders got cancelled because it said they were discontinued, even though it was listed on the website as in stock. So I didn't really not know what to do, and I thought like, oh, like my dream build is now out, you know, completely not going to happen. I didn't really want it static. I didn't really want to just have it on coilovers because I knew although drive height would be nice, I wouldn't be happy with it parked. And then somebody, some people watching this might know him. His name's Aaron Hughes. He used to have a pink, I think it was a 9N Polo. He had that on hydros and he had them up for sale, pretty cheap price, couldn't really grumble. And I spoke to Charlie and he was like, just get them, we can cut the ends off, weld them, weld your bottoms of your shocks on so they fit. So yeah, I bought Polo hydros and put them on a Prelude.
Wow. See, I didn't know you could do that.
I mean, I didn't really either, but essentially the rams are the same. It's only the tops and bottoms that are different. And I did actually message the company who made them, and he tried to tell me, no, I can't do that. I need to buy new rams, blah blah blah.
Well, clearly.
And then I was like, no, I don't think so.
Wow.
The only difference really is actually the spring rating in my hydro box, which is in the boot. But one of them had already cracked one of the springs, so I had to get a new one anyway, so I got a pair. So the rear is now drives a lot better now. It's got the spring rating it's supposed to have for a bigger car, obviously. Interesting.
So hydros or air ride? You prefer hydros? What are the I mean,
it's so
people that
difficult
don't
to say because I've had air ride before. I had it on my Audi A1 and
yes,
don't get me wrong, it is pretty comfortable, it's kind of a good all-rounder, but the problem I think you have is because you're reliant on like the manifold and the little electric controller, I think that there's just a lot more that can go wrong. Whereas here, obviously, you're just literally, you've got an oil pump, some manual switches. The only thing I miss is having a set ride height because obviously I've just got switches in this. I don't know whether there's a way you can convert your hydros and have some sort of controller, but I don't know, probably not.
Let us know in the comments if so.
Please,
but,
yes, please. Yeah, so I feel like hydros are more reliable. However, my friend has got hydros on his Mark 6 Fiesta and they are very, very stiff and very uncomfortable, but he has shortened his rams, whereas my rams are quite long.
Okay.
So I think this is honestly so comfy to be in. Like, you wouldn't look at it and think like, yeah, that's really comfy to
Yeah,
ride
bouncing
about
down the
in,
road.
but actually, yeah, a lot of people joke that when they're behind me, if we're like going to a show or whatever, it's like the back is really boaty because it's just, there's just so much strut there for it to take it. So.
Yes. Interesting. Well, can you show us the boot quickly, or is it not much to?
I can show you it.
Because obviously with air ride, people have got their tanks
just
and
for
stuff.
people who haven't seen hydros before, it's interesting.
Yes. I mean, I haven't necessarily.
This is. I've not done a boot build.
Yet.
It was not top of my list. So that's obviously my spring box, and then this is my hydro pump here. My tyre pump. That's the.
Okay,
yeah,
and that's it. That's all.
That's all it is. Yeah. And then just hydro lines to each corner, and yeah.
As you say, probably more reliable than air ride, because like I think we were talking about in the video with Brian and his Beamer, if you have a problem, you are stuck on that height, and it's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I had a major oil leak in one of my rams, then it would potentially get stuck.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, even with air ride in the winter, I've had like my tank and my compressor freeze before, which is a bit of a nuisance.
Really?
You're like ready to then go to work, and you've got to sit there and like warm your tank
defrost
up
your
somehow,
tank.
Or,
wow.
And sometimes it just doesn't want to warm up, so I ended up actually like making a little blanket around my compressor for the winter just so it doesn't get really cold.
That's mad.
Yeah.
God, that's terrible. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, loads of people have got air ride nowadays, but that sounds terrible compared. But
I should also say actually, I made these clear ears myself.
did you?
Yeah, I mean, ignore my really bad sticker, I put that one in the rain, but this one's not so bad.
Wow.
So essentially what I did was I got some Lexus style lit rear lights which had a clear lens, but the inside had this big red bit over the brake light. It just looked like a big Japanese flag, to be honest with you. So what I did was I took those, stripped them, took my stop lights, stripped them, and then took all the clear reflectors out of the stop lights, and then just essentially used the outside clear lens from the Lexus style ones. Put it all together and you've got full clears. You can't buy them.
Interesting. So again, another thing for the 4th gen that just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Thought of another thing. I honestly forget all the things I've done to this car. So all 4th gens come with a tin top sunroof, and they rust. Oh. Jesus, that's gross.
Rust all the way through.
Out of the 5th gen. They come with glass ones, and obviously because it's glass, they don't rot.
And it's similar size, or just straight fit?
It actually fits. You just have to. I think I had to take the brackets off the 5th gen and use those brackets, or I can't remember now. I have actually got a video about it on my YouTube, but
which will be linked below. But
you can see what I've done to this so far. Yeah, so that's from a 5th gen as well as the pumps.
As we come into the cabin, it is actually beautifully stock, which is a nice thing sometimes, isn't it? You were just saying these seats are really comfortable.
Yeah,
and
so these they go by Tombstones. They are really comfy, and a lot of people take them and put them in other Hondas like Civics and stuff. So yeah, I do really like them. I was torn between getting another set to retrim because I kind of just like the way the seat looks, and I wasn't sure if a bucket seat would be the right vibe in this car.
And with the rails, would you be higher up? Because that's quite like headroom wise as well.
I'm not really sure, to be fair. I mean, I'm like 5'3", so it's not really a problem for me. But
yes.
Yeah, and obviously they've all got like the matching pattern throughout, and it's matching on the door cards. Which, you know, if and when I do the interior, when I can actually decide what I want to do, I'd kind of want to make everything tie in again, but I'm a bit scared to get rid of my actual stock seats and stuff, so I think I would just hoard them and get a second set of everything.
Definitely.
And I do love the floor mats as well, so these are like a JDM rare part that came out of my other Lude, but I love the pattern on them and everything, so I kept those.
Would you get, is that too much, seats the same colour as the exterior?
I've thought about it, or I've thought about like going for like a pink to match all of my like subframes and suspension and everything underneath that's pink. I'm not sure, because like realistically I like black stuff as well. Like I'm quite gothy, and then my car's really like bubblegum pink out there and blue, and you know it's a hard, like, trying to get both of my tastes to work together. So I didn't know if like black in the interior is not going to go, but I don't want to go over the top and go too colourful, so yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah.
And can you really quickly show us your dash, because this is quite cool. I've never seen a...
I'll turn it all the way on so like most of the lights go off.
So that, I don't know if you can properly see, should do, but all the way across. That is quite cool. How many other cars are like that? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, considering this is a 1996, it's quite.
It's newer.
It's quite sort of. It was before its time, really. The only other thing I can think of that's older that's kind of like that is an S2000, because it's got the like the speedo sort of lights up as it goes.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, even when you get to a 5th gen, they don't have this dash, so they kind of almost then went backwards. It's really, really weird, but yeah,
I like it.
That's cool.
It's got a lot. It's like very roomy as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
you will. Yeah,
it's
always
nice.
kind of feel like
Spaceship.
It's a little spaceship.
Yeah, sorry. Yes. But no, we'll go for a little cruise. Actually, I know we said we wouldn't go because it's not like a crazy powerhouse, but it's still nice to feel these things. And we were just talking about the hydros, so I will, feel them out as we drive, and then we're going to go and get some thumbnails for the video, but you will already see that because you've clicked on the video. But if you like it up until here, make sure to leave a like on the video and follow mine and Leanne's Instagram, because it's a really sick build.
So obviously, as I said, it was still rusty, even though it was less rusty than my other Prelude I had. So both rear quarters have been cut out and replaced, this side and the other side, and then also both the sills underneath the side skirt. One of them has been replaced, I think half, and then the other one Charlie had to custom make some bits and bobs because it wasn't really worth doing a whole half a sill. So but yeah, it was mostly all sort of like this back end, and also I think there's some of the inner underneath the arch, the inner arch has been done as well, but I've got some photos. So yeah, lots of rust work has been done,
and
all
undersealed as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the whole underneath, literally cleaned up everything, all the subframes, all the arms, whole underneath the car. Everything's been like blasted back and undersealed, and then everything's just been painted fresh as well. So,
which is just future proofing, isn't it? It's
no rust anywhere.
Which
actually, I do. The ride height is quite high just because of how wide my wheels are. They poke a lot when I hydro up. So yeah, I do have to have quite a high ride height. The only other thing I can do is camber it more, but I don't really want to camber it too much more because I feel like I'm just opening a can of worms to not get on well with the police and whatnot. My friend did get pulled over and got a, whatever it is, PG9 the other day for camber and stuff.
Oh, blue one.
Yeah.
You know who you are. Has he got more camber than you?
Yes.
Because I don't know a thing about camber. It's all new.
I think. Oh god, I thought that was a police car then, but it's an ambulance. Definitely panicked. Don't have a front plate on, guys. Yeah, so I think he is running about -16. I think I'm about -10.
Oh, okay.
I've not properly measured it because it's difficult getting it tracked and aligned and stuff, obviously with camber and it being quite low.
Right. Yeah. Because I've seen an MR2 in the States that's got, I think it was just 6 degree, but I don't know, I think it's just 6, I think he said in the comments.
Yeah.
And that looks quite clean, but
yeah,
you can go like, wait, your wheel sits like that, you can go too like far.
Yeah, I think there's a point. I think anything above like maybe 12-ish can sometimes look a little bit too sideways, but obviously I know that is some people like that kind of look, but I think for me I just want it to be a middle ground of stancy, cambered, looks cool, looks a little bit like, okay, you don't see that every day, but it's also not horrendous to drive and it's not really impractical to drive.
Wasn't there a clip I've seen of your, is it Instagram, when you were in Morrison's and some old lady come up to your door and was like, what is, like, do you drive like that? And you were like... Yeah,
I get that a lot. I get like, is it broken? Why are your wheels wonky? Like, what's wrong with your suspension?
That's funny.
Yeah, I guess like the concept of having suspension that goes up and down is so foreign to some people.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like buses do it. Like most buses have some sort of, I think it's air because it sounds like air, I'm not 100% sure, obviously to let wheelchairs and pushchairs and things on, so yeah. And there are some cars that come out of factory with the type of air ride.
I think Range Rovers have got a little something.
I think so, yeah.
Well, no, I know they do actually.
So yeah, it's not completely alien and it's perfectly safe.
But we're saying hydros are better than air ride. Discuss in the comments.
Yeah, I mean I do think
feels alright. I know, I mean, our roads are rubbish, but just when you're on normal roads and there's no speed bumps, it's chill.
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
But then so was Brian in his air ride as well. I don't know how you do a proper test, but it just, yeah, it feels nice. It doesn't feel bad.
I think, I mean, I could show you, if I hydro all the way up and my RAMs are maxed out, it's quite horrendous.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of weird, like, it's with your RAM, like, when you're kind of middle-ish, it's got, I'm not going to make that motion. It's kind of got, like, almost like room to move, I guess, and it's kind of got, it kind of cushions it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're maxed out, obviously there's nothing for it, so it's just like solid.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not very comfy.
That makes sense. No, I think it's nice though. So you were saying earlier you're just gonna touch upon engine stuff in the future.
Yes.
But you don't want to go too fast because of your camber setup and how that is.
Yeah, so my main plan with the engine is kind of to clean it up actually. And I was going to do it last winter, but I just got sidetracked. We moved house and stuff and I just didn't get around to it. So I want to strip out more stuff. At the minute I've stripped out aircon and cruise control. I also want to strip out like other stuff. I want to look at electric power steering instead so I can get rid of the pump. I'm going to relocate my battery, all that kind of stuff, strip it, smooth it, so like weld in plates where needed, and then like paint everything so it looks really nice. And then what I want to do is I want to get another bonnet that's just like the front section, so I'll probably need to get another bonnet and cut it to do that, just so I can have like a really nice engine bay on show at shows. That's kind of what I really like, so I probably maybe will end up doing some little tweaky powery things maybe as part of the engine bay cleanup process.
Bit of horsepower here and there.
Yeah, but it's not top of my list to push power out of this because like I'm not putting it on a racetrack.
It's a show car.
Yeah, I mean I've made it to how I want it to look. I've made it to make me smile, and like when I see other people and I'm driving around, like they'll smile at it as well. Like it's fast enough when I want to put my foot down, but like with camber and stretch, like, you know, don't always recommend it. There's a time and a place.
Yeah.
But, you know, as long as you kind of keep on top of your tyre pressures and stuff with stretch and camber, I might just take it. I meant to go that way.
That's alright.
As long as you keep on top of your tyre pressures, you're like at less risk of debeading, but you know, when you modify cars, there's always some type of risk because, you know, cut and welded spindles, for example, you know, you just don't know. Something could go at any time really. So
yeah. Right, we'll give it some beans. Definitely has some pull.
I just get scared going like too fast with the stretch and the camber and my dodgy RAM at the minute. So
no, 100%, yeah.
And I always feel like I'm always surprised when I look down at my speedo and I'm like, oh, is that it? I'm like, am I only doing like whatever? That's
literally George's car with all the noise. You think, oh my god, I'm going fast, but you're not. Which is kind of sweet, but. Oh, that's cool. You've got an old Polaroid of.
Yeah, so that's that, and if you flip it around, it's slightly different on the other side.
Oh, wow.
So that is where I picked it up. That's what it looked like.
Jeez.
And this is without VTEC, obviously, because my VTEC is.
Yes, VTEC doesn't work.
Not working at the moment.
Hello, 2.2. nice. The car drives well, the car looks brilliant. It is a perfect all-round show car, and thank you to Leanne for today as well. It was yeah, it's such a unique car. I mean, even just a couple of cyclists a minute ago, they ran past and they said, "I love your car," and everybody looks at it, everybody says stuff, because it's one of one, it's very unique, and that's what it's all about, doing what you want to do for you, and nobody else. So if they got a problem, that is their problem. But yeah, if you did like, then leave a like, turn on the post notifications, because you don't want to miss a new video, and all of Leanne's stuff will be in the description, the Instagram, the YouTube. Her build and future stuff will be on there as well, so you want to follow along and then do the same on there. But yes, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.